Hey guys, I'm Lt Stan, co-founder of IDD Safe. Today I'll be discussing the importance of safety during police encounter training for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. IDD. The IDD Safe, Safety with Law Enforcement Training, aims to equip individuals with the skills and knowledge necessary to navigate different types of police encounters. These training areas include traffic stops, pedestrian stops, 911 responses to the home, knock and talks by police officers, and other laws, rights, and responsibilities associated with police contacts. This training will be a combination of lectures and video lessons, written quizzes to test your knowledge, and reality-based training. First, I would like to introduce the concept of reality-based training. Reality-based training is a type of training that aims to create realistic scenarios that mimic real-life situations. This type of training allows participants to learn more proficiently as they experience the scenario in a controlled and sterile environment. In regular police training, plastic weapons are used for safety reasons. It is safer to use plastic weapons as they do not pose a real threat to those involved in training. Allowing real weapons in the training area could result in serious injury or even death. For that reason, we too would utilize plastic weapons with bright colors that will be shown to all the participants prior to the start. It is also important to have a designated safety officer who can stop the training if any unsafe action occurs. The safety officer has the authority to stop the training by blowing a whistle when they identify any unsafe action. The simple safe word, time, will also be used by those acting as police officers or any participant to stop the scenario. This means that the scenario is over, and a participant should utilize self-calming breathing techniques to decrease anxiety caused by the police encounter scenario. Breathing techniques are used to calm you down and return the body back to normal following the overstimulation. An example of a breathing technique would be to breathe in for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, and breathe out for the same count. You would do this in your head without speaking the numbers aloud. Those not directly acting or participating in the scenario should repeat the safety word, time, so that all in the training area are aware that there is either a safety hazard, the attention of the instructor is required, or a participant is overwhelmed to the point that training must immediately cease to take care of that person's needs. Instructors should provide a safety briefing before the start of each training scenario so that the individual participants understand the safety rules and how the training will be operated. In this training, we'll be using colored wristbands called COPS training bands. We're going to have further discussion on that in a secondary video. The COPS training bands allow the instructor to visually identify participants with special communication needs, possible training challenges, and specific behavioral deficiencies. Prior to traffic stop scenarios, the safety officer will designate a roped-off area called the safe zone for those participants that are waiting or just observing. The safety zone should not be set in front of or to the rear of any of the stationary vehicles to prevent injury if there was a mechanical malfunction or human error involving one of the training cars. The safety officer shall use tire blocks to stop the vehicle tires from rolling forward or to the rear. The safety officer is responsible for testing the emergency brakes, the training vehicles, and verifying that they are engaged prior to each scenario starting. The IDD Safe lead instructor shall go over the nomenclature of the cars specific to the orders that will be given by the officer instructors. This will help all individuals understand where to place their hands during the scenario, to include but not limited to the hood of the car, the dashboard, headrest, and the steering wheel. The lead instructor should additionally place an emphasis on the participants not touching the emergency brake on those vehicles. The lead instructor should also go over the area of the car that may be touched, areas such as the window buttons, radio knobs, signal indicator level, and the steering wheel. It is essential that those in the driver's seat do not place their hands on the gear shift or feet on the pedals of the car for training. The safety officer should easily be identified by a red shirt and should make sure that individuals completing their scenario move back to the safety zone. All vehicles will be stationary and set up in a traditional traffic stop configuration. No handcuffs shall be utilized to avoid overstimulating individuals with IDD. Lastly, the lead instructors should gather detailed information about their participants prior to the start of class. This is for the purpose of identifying deficiencies and triggers to prevent meltdowns, special considerations, and any self-stimulating items that might be needed by the individual. This information should be provided by the co-sponsor of the training event, caregiver, or the participants through a pre-course survey. The survey will allow the instructors to have information to promote proper communication and will ensure that training is more effective and safe. It will additionally help the instructors group participants accordingly. For instance, individuals with a history of seizures caused by strobe lights will be placed in the same group so that no lights on the vehicles or through flashlights will be used during their group. In closing, please remember, well thought out preparation will lead to healthy training environments. Thank you for your time and keeping everyone involved in police encounter training, IDD safe.